is Monday, start of a new week, and it's very close to the end of the year. And we're with round two of our friend Karl Gruber. I said Gruber correctly, right?
Yeah, you did it. Yay.
Hey, Karl, you know what I didn't know yesterday when we started talking?
What's
That
that?
you ran 52 marathons in the course of a year.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, 1996, 97. I became the ninth man in the world to ever successfully run 26.2 miles once a week for 52 straight weeks. And I did it all to raise money and awareness to find a cure for leukemia. I knew a little boy who had died, so I just went off and did it.
That's remarkable.
I used to say that every week about mile 23. This is remarkable. Where's the finish line?
I know that feeling well. I spent a little over a decade as an ultra runner. Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, I know, but I've run a couple 50Ks, but I haven't done. I don't want to do 100. You're amazing.
um, well, I always tell people I'd rather running 100 miles is basically going from it's a moving buffet. I go from one aid station to the next aid station. Before I know it, I've reached the finish line. The hardest
Yeah,
races, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
The hardest
No,
races for
I was
me
going to say
were the fast
I
ones.
understand because when I ran a 50K in the Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming, and that's when I found out you need real food to supplement, not just energy gels. You go through the aid stations: peanut M&Ms, potato chips, hot soup, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You really need it when you're burning that kind of energy, you know.
You do. Um, the hardest thing for me became as I got a little bit older, the sleep deficit. It took me longer to recover.
Oh.
But
Hmm.
body wise, sometimes the next day I'd be fine. Go out. I know I do an easy walk or an easy run, but getting over that sleep deficit. Um,
Mm.
I can
Yeah.
imagine. I read one thing that you said. You were uh, you did this all on your own. No one like you didn't have any sponsors.
Well, I had some sponsors. Power Bar sponsored me, and what they did is they gave me nutrition and a few items and clothing. But when I went all over North America and Hawaii to run those, and if I did a radio or a television interview, and the internet was just starting then, 96, 97, and I did a couple early internet things. But if the Power Bar logo was seen or I mentioned their name, they paid me a small amount of money according to the size of the market that it was in. And so
Right.
I got a little bit of money. And Kroger Food and Drug, a grocery store chain, uh, gave me $5 per mile for all 52 marathons.
Oh wow.
But none of that was for me. That all went straight to the Leukemia Society of America.
Are you still racing or running?
Um, I'm not. I haven't raced in a couple years. I don't do marathons anymore. I'm a professional race announcer now. I announce the Columbus, Ohio Marathon, the Cleveland, Ohio Marathon, and smaller races. I coach a local running club too, so I'm running, but just 3 to 5 miles at a time.
Nice. My
Yeah.
uh, ex-wife, one of her favorite marathons was the Air Force Marathon because she was active Air Force 23 and a half years, and she's from
Mhm.
Dayton, Ohio. So it was like the
Yeah,
everything she loved.
it's at Wright Patterson Air Force Base right outside of Dayton. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I haven't run that race, but I hear it's pretty good.
she loved it. So one of the things I was going to ask, sliding into the main part of our conversation, maybe even unbeknownst to you, getting things to work out to get those 52 races might have been an early indication of law of attraction.
Well, and yeah, boy, that's a really nice segue. You'd be good at a podcast, you know. Uh, um, Yeah, and that's funny because I wrote a whole year. I wrote a book about my year running called "Running for Their Lives," THEIR, and then I realized later when I did that year of marathoning, I had never heard of the law of attraction. I knew about positive thinking. I think we touched on that some yesterday. Um, So in hindsight, I went out. I was a wild and crazy bachelor who owned a home way out in southeast Ohio in the countryside, and I was a radio disc jockey, so I didn't have any real commitments. So I rented out my house for a whole year and went out on faith, blind faith to do it. I didn't have enough money to do the whole year, but I realized later in hindsight that law of attraction, that my dog determination sent out to the universe. Oh, okay, Carl needs this money to keep going. Oh, he needs his body to be healthy to keep doing this. And it kept coming to me over and over and over and over. And then when I became a student of A Course in Miracles, I sure knew what it meant in line one, page one, where it says there's no order or difficulty in miracles because I've lived it.
Lived it and demonstrated it. And I imagine you inspired a whole lot of people um, to one, probably start running, um, and two, to know that um, they could perform those miracles themselves. Especially now with your book, and then you have a second book, right?
Yeah, well, I actually have 6 books out, but a couple of four. I don't know, I think 4 of them are about running, and then I've got my True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction book, which came out 2022. Um, the interesting thing about being able to run a marathon a week for a year successfully was it's given me a platform of integrity because I am a life coach and I coach people, and when I coach somebody, I say, "Look, I've been there. I know that what you think is impossible is possible. There's greater things beyond your imagination that really are possible, and you use your body and your mind and your muscles and your faith, and then the universe supports you in a mission, especially if your mission is based on uh, on right-minded living and thinking, love, truth, passion. Yeah, it does. It works. I know it.
One of the things that we talked about yesterday was the law of attraction works no matter what you're putting out there.
Oh yeah. Yep, and that is absolutely true. So the definition of the law of attraction is that which you think and dwell upon consistently will be more will be sent to you, be it good or bad. And most of the world, their thoughts and their energy dwell in a negative, disempowering place. Like if you go up to somebody who has no clue about this and say, hey, yeah, if you think these really good things, and they go, oh, get real. That's not real. And to them, negativity is reality. And I go, no, yeah, you put it to practice and you'll find out.
What about that indeterminate state? Uh, because this is no matter what it is you're thinking. So if you're thinking, well, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, then you're getting maybe results. Maybe sometimes it works.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you nailed it right there. Yeah.
So basically, we need to be very clear. And this isn't, I think a lot of people get frustrated that they think, I can't monitor my thoughts constantly, every single thought. But that's not what you're advocating.
Well, so we touched on this a little bit yesterday in a different way, coming from the angle of A Course in Miracles. So you you have to have a little willingness to accomplish this, and this goes back to that we are fully taken care of by Source, by the Creator, by God. Whatever you want to call it. Um, it could be a Buddha, all of that. So if you don't have to, the ACIM makes it clear you don't have to be pure, you don't have to be a saint. Just put it out here. This is what I want to accomplish, and have love and truth and light in your heart, and go forward and have the faith that the universe, that all that is supporting you. And so that little willingness is all you need. I just read this the other day in the ACIM that my part as the being that I am is so little compared to what source, what God is taking care of for you. And that's really hard. You have to, and this goes back to the law of attraction. If you want something and you want it so bad, you're going, I gotta have this, I gotta win that $1.8 billion that was in the Powerball the other day. I need not. If you try too hard, you're actually putting energetic resistance out. So you let it go, have the faith, and just know it's already done, already taken care of for you. And
Um,
that's really hard for people to practice.
I bet. And I imagine the quality of your language, the quality of your inner talk. Because if you're saying I want, or I need, then what you're putting out
Mm-hmm.
there is want and need.
Yep, yep, absolutely, which indicates lack. And the universe here is lack, lack, lack. And what you're saying, I want, I need, but actually what the universe here is what your heart is projecting. So your words could be actually in conflict with what your heart is really saying. So you have to really sit down and contemplate that.
So, how important is feeling? Feeling what you want. Um, I think
Yeah.
it was Stuart Wilde a long time ago who said, you know, fake it, fake it till you make it. Write yourself a check for the amount that you want, and
Hmm.
have it and look at it and have that feeling. Deepak Chopra talks about
Well,
feeling affluent.
yeah, and feeling or emotions are very, very important, a very key element. Let's go back to the basics. Everything is energy, which means our thoughts are energy. Those inner words are just as energetic as our words that come out of our mouth. And, thoughts just happen to be in a spectrum of light that our eyes can't perceive. If we could see it, we'd see little things shooting off our head. They're real energy. So your emotions, as they become stronger, again, good or bad, are like pouring fuel on the fire. And when you do that, the fire just goes like that. So you have to pay attention to that. So if you're angry at something, and you're and when we're angry, our emotions really like, universe is okay, well, let's send them more to be angry about. And if you can be channel those powerful emotions of what you really want, the good, the bad, the healthy, the abundant, the joyful in your life, channel your emotions in conjunction with your right-minded thoughts towards what you really want. Boy, you're going to see some really powerful results.
Um, Now, with all that said and done, uh, detachment plays a part, right? Detaching from the outcome.
Well, and that goes back to the little willingness. You can detach from the outcome simply because you have this deep inner knowing that you're taken care of. And that, you may say, and here's the other thing, and I know you've heard this before, Eric. The universe will deliver to us our greatest successes and accomplishments, but not necessarily in the way we imagined them to be. So that if you can put out to source, to all that is, this is what I want and how I want it, and then you can detach because your what little willingness has faith. There's a line from the course that says, "Truth calls to faith, and faith makes room for truth." And this is a real key. That's what you do. You put that out there and say, "Okay, I'm taken care of. All right, now I got to go over to the grocery store and go buy some bread right now." And you can go about your day, and that is all taken care of.
Um, I'm going to let you know where I am right now on this.
Hmm.
Um, the manual for teachers, when they talk about the 10 characteristics of God, and the first one, and probably the most extensive one, is trust. Um,
Okay.
Having that trust. And they begin with sometimes it's going to feel like uh, things are being taken away. Um, and for me, probably for about maybe close to a year now, I have felt on the precipice of being able to take this great leap into something, I don't know, larger than myself, something very uh, almost like a magnetic pull. And then this fear that's saying, I feel like I've already lost so much in the past few years. Can I really trust uh, that everything I've practiced up until this point in my life, and we're talking 30 years of practice, and now I'm asked to put the rubber to the road, um, and live my life with that trust. I Go ahead.
Eric, that's exactly what I did with my 52 marathons. I own this beautiful home. I locked it up. I had to take my dog to go live with my parents in Cleveland for the year, and I didn't have nearly enough money to go be on the road for 52 weeks traveling around North America, uh, and I I had the trust. Somehow you just have to know I have a mission. I'm going to do this. I trust. I trust. I trust. And again, using my year of marathoning, which I successfully did. I mean, it wasn't the way that I imagined it to be, but I did it. That trust is what got me through these things. When I was driving on a 15-hour drive through South Dakota in crappy weather, and I go, I go, okay, I trust, but it worked. It worked out.
Um, I guess that brings us back to the little willingness, doesn't it? What I hear you saying me as a deeply personal message is the way to trust is to trust.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Uh,
yep, absolutely.
it's valuable, valuable to me personally, and I really appreciate that. Um, Now I know exactly why I asked you to come up and have a conversation. It was so you could tell me that one particular thing.
You know, I have a funny story. I'm trying to find it in my book here. A few years ago, um, I went to my good friend's house for Christmas, and my my friend had, when we sat down at Christmas dinner, had these little name card holders where you can put, they put it by the person's seat. And mine was a little monkey holding a banana with this little thing sticking out where they could put the name on it. And she gave that to me when she sent me home with some extra food and everything. And that night before I went to bed, I pulled it out, and I don't even know why. I took a little piece of paper and I wrote the word trust on it and stuck it into this little name card holder on top of this glass monkey, and stuck it on my desk. And um, and I got up the next morning and I just looked at it and I just started laughing, and I go, what a simple, effective way to remind me in every moment I look at this that I have trust in source and that I am taken care of. It's still on my desk. I think I have a picture of I call it the trust monkey. I have a picture of it in my book somewhere. So anyway, yeah, you need a trust monkey, Eric.
I do need a trust monkey, and I'm actually putting out those thoughts now to attract to myself a trust monkey in whatever form it might
Hmm.
arrive in. We have a
Right.
question from someone, and I'm going to
Okay.
paraphrase it a bit. He says, "How do you trust when not everyone is trustworthy?" Says he doesn't get some of the analogy that we use. Um, so, if I were to add to that, how do we trust when not everyone or everything seems trustworthy?
Hmm. And first of all, forgive me. put a throat lozenge in because my voice, I feel fine, is just a little rough. Um, well, so first of all, trust is not in the people around you. Trust is in source, all that is, which again is very difficult because most of the world doesn't even pay attention to that. But that is the truth. So as you live your life in a what I call a right-minded manner, where you're not judging people, you're not attacking people in your thoughts or your words or physically, where you're loving and being compassionate, as you do those in your daily life, those people that you don't perceive as being trust, they change around you, and you will see that evolve. And these people, by changing yourself, your inner self, those people will become trustworthy. There's a classic line, heal yourself and the world is healed with you.
Hmm.
So start trusting yourself first. Start trusting source and God and all that is. And those people and situations around you that don't seem to be trustworthy now, you'll see them change. It may not be immediate, but you will see it.
Um, we have a friend who said, and while saying that out loud, what he was saying um, is needed to hear that more than anyone else. So that was nice.
Oh, good.
It sounds
Thank
to
you.
me that A Course in Miracles can, so to speak, supercharge the law of attraction. From what you had said, what you're putting out, you're putting out kindness, you're not judging. Uh, these are all principles that are developed through practicing A Course in Miracles.
Absolutely, and that's like again, I'm just only because of my book, the True Spirituality and Law of Attraction. The subtitle is a beautiful symbiotic relationship, and studying the course and being a student of Law of Attraction, I don't see any separation there at all, because everything that the course says in very different words than say a Law of Attraction teacher might say to you actually correlate and reinforce each other. That which you give, comes back to you, be it good or bad. If you have an argument with somebody, and an hour later he said, I got him. I was cool. I beat him on that, and then maybe 5 hours later, the guilt starts to creep in. Oh God, why did I do that to that person? You think you had a victory, but it was actually not. The universe sent you more to feel guilty about. So if you come upon a situation like that, and instead of thinking I've got to win this argument right now, 5 hours later, you look back, that wasn't even really that important. Why did I put that energy? Instead, you're just being loving and kind and non judgmental. And so, honestly, there is no separation in the way the universal law and truth work, and the way the law of attraction works. They're the same.
Um, you know, as we near the end of the year, if we get to those final, especially the last five workbook lessons, this really, I'll read it out loud. This really sounds like the law of attraction right here. And if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me. If I need a thought, that he will give me, also give me. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. He is in charge of my requests, and I will hear. He will hear and answer me because he speaks for God, my Father, and his Holy Son. It seems like a perfect description of law of attraction.
You're exactly right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good. Thank you for sharing those. Yeah,
Um,
perfect.
really, and sometimes it seems that maybe we complicate the law of attraction. Uh, too many rituals, too many symbols. When it comes down to what you just said, just trust.
Yeah, and it's so easy to complicate things now. I mean, most of our thoughts are based in the past, events that have happened, but what we see in the media and on our computers and on our phones now are so based in fantasy and illusion that have nothing to do with reality of, there is only one unified reality of all that is. That the vast majority of the humanity has no clue on this. We're just think, oh my God, I want to be a wizard with a wand and everything, and I'm going to manifest, wave this magic Harry Potter wand, and my dream woman's going to walk up. Media shows that too. I want go on YouTube and look at the videos that are presented. They're all judgment and attack and an illusion and fantasy. I mean, how many YouTube videos? I'll just sit here eating dinner since I don't have a TV, and I'll look at some and God, how many murders do I see on in just a few videos? And this is over and over. So most of the world's thoughts and attention are based in illusion and fantasy.
So we're actually kind of performing our own rituals of going against anytime we watch violence, anytime we participate in a violent conversation. We're performing a ritual to bring us the opposite of what we actually want in life.
Well, and this is part of the human experience. We came here. We're and again, I'm going back to the teachings of A Course in Miracles. It is that we were the Son of God, unified with all that is, and we fell asleep in a deep dream, which is a nightmare of separation, which is where we projected the body. Um, and and in this body is we developed an ego, which becomes the dualistic thing. We have the ego and heaven. And I have had many guests on my podcast say your ego is your friend. Well, if you read the Course in Miracles, and I've had a master teacher of A Course in Miracles on my show 3 times, Gary Renard, he'll tell you the ego wants to kill you. And so if you can go past the thoughts of separation and judgment and attack, um, then you're going to be in a little more oriented towards understanding what is the truth, the light.
Um, so, speaking of the ego, we have uh, two aspects of a seemingly split mind. We have the ego, we have the Holy Spirit. Uh, can both of those um, manifest? Can both of those activate the law of attraction in their own way? Can the ego manifest?
Oh yeah, well that goes back simply to again, be it good or bad, and the ego is in the realm of the bad, the negative. It's a split mind, and the Holy Spirit is the good, uh, where all is one, and there is no such thing as judgment or attack. Yeah. So yeah, the ego can manifest simply because it agrees with the law of attraction. Be it good or bad, it'll be sent to you. Um, yeah, absolutely.
We have a couple more questions. Uh, our friend Sherry says, I have a lot of repressed emotions. Sometimes, when forgiving everything, I wonder if I'm bypassing my emotions, if that makes sense and ties into the topic.
Bypassing your emotions just by forgiving. Um, I'm not sure that makes sense to me. I mean, if you forgive means letting it go as if it is not real. And sure, it could be something very traumatic that happened to you and you forgive it. But as you let it go, as you forgive, then the emotions of feeling angry or mad or repressed or oppressed should go with it. Um, yeah, that's interesting. if you forgive properly, actually truly letting it go, then those emotions should settle down. One thing you have to remember, you can't serve two masters. I mean, you can, but you will do neither well. You're either going to dedicate yourself to your dualistic life of living the 3D egoic world, or you're going to serve your higher, true, loving self and all that is and God completely. And believe me, I still vacillate in between it myself, you know. So I don't know unless you're a master like Jesus or Buddha. You know, we're always going to be vacillating high and low and high and low.
Um, so it sounds to me like you're saying we have internal GPS system. All we need to do is check in. If we're bypassing, uh, we'll still be experiencing what we're trying to forgive. If we're forgiving, that experience
Mhm.
will we might still feel it, but it will lessen. So we forgive, and it'll lessen some more, and we forgive. It's a continuous process.
Yeah, I like the way you put that internal GPS system. Yeah, that's pretty good. Um, Now, one thing, you know, I was talking, you know, which means everything has a frequency vibration. You know, most of the world lives, you know, we have our high moments of good things in our life, and then we come down and we're in a valley. And we know the valley, the low point where not a lot of good is happening. Um, we all know people who've stayed in that valley for 50, 60, sometimes their entire life, 90 years, and then they die. Here's the key thing: as you study these things and you gravitate to the healthy, loving unity of love, light, and truth, the key is you go to the peak, and sure, even the yogi on the mountain who's sitting up in the cave up there will come down in the valley. But the key, as you learn and practice these things, is you go back to the peak and you stay at the peak for longer and longer and longer periods of time. And sure, you're going to come dip down some, but you're not down there like you used to be for years at a time. And you can quickly, oh wait, oh I I'm sending out the wrong thoughts and the energy and emotions to the universe. Wait, this is what I really want, and you pull yourself back. That is the key: is staying at the peak for longer and longer and longer periods of time.
Um, and like you said, like you just mentioned, it's not like we don't vacillate. It's not like uh, we're. I guess the easiest way to say it, it's not like we're not practicing. And when you practice, you're practicing. Long ago, I heard an interview with the Dalai Lama, and he was talking about practicing meditation. And he was probably in his 60s at the time. And I thought, so wait a minute, if the Dalai Lama, who has been practicing meditation since birth and probably previous lifetimes,
Mm-hmm.
is still practicing, and here I've been doing it for 20 years and wondering when I'm going to get good at it, uh, sort of lets me off the hook just a little bit. That be happy with the practice. And sometimes you nail it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also be happy with the practice, but you find yourself coming back to those happy moments and practicing it more and more and more until it becomes more a part of your life.
Um, it's interesting that our friend Sherry had mentioned forgiveness. Uh, how would you say forgiveness plays a role in law of attraction?
Well, that's a really good question, and honestly, I think as you forgive, I'm sorry, Maya, my cat, has joined me here. Um, as you practice forgiveness, not the way the world practices forgiveness is, but I mean the true spiritual way of practicing forgiveness. I call it quantum forgiveness. Then all the other things rise up, and you exist and live at a higher, more loving frequency, uh, and then the universe responds. Well, Carl's living at a more consistent, loving, healthy, light-filled, joyful, abundant, healthy frequency. Here, let's send him more. And much of that comes back to forgiveness. Now, I facilitate a very large Power of Eight healing group on Facebook, in which we have 2,100 members from around the world, where
Wow.
8 or more people come together virtually or live to focus healing on a person, place, or thing. And one thing that I have found, we'll have somebody come to the. I'll have people from Europe and Australia and everything on the call, and we'll focus on somebody who has a physical issue, and we'll find out talking in that some way they have a form of guilt, or they're holding an unforgiveness or a grudge somewhere in their subconscious, or on the periphery of their conscious mind. And when you hold an unforgiveness, it actually creates energy blockage in your chakras, which creates, when you have that, that creates physical illness. So I would really, if you're somebody out there who has a long held grudge or an unforgiveness, say maybe there's a father that you haven't talked to in years, or a brother, it's time to forgive them. And you may be experiencing, oh God, why do I have this physical illness? I've got MS now, or something like that. I can tell you that it's based in holding the feelings of guilt and unforgiveness somewhere deep in your body, in your mind.
Um, we have a question related to that. Uh, how do we start forgiving our assumptions?
Elaborate, please.
Uh,
Uh, uh,
Squirrel Sniper, could you elaborate a little bit? Um, I'm gonna have to guess. The assumptions that we've made, that we live in a purely material world. The assumptions that we are not manifestors, that we cannot. There's no such thing as law of attraction. We need to work hard for everything. Nothing comes easily. Those little assumptions that we make, uh, that we've actually been given. You know, nothing comes easy.
mhm.
Uh, you got to work for everything. Hold on to what you got, or someone's going to take it from you.
Well, and so I'm glad you explained that. So I know who Abraham Hicks is. Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. One of her famous analogies is the stream analogy, where you put your boat, and this goes back to exactly what you're talking about, that we were taught that we have to work really hard for everything. My dad worked his whole life in order to achieve all this money and everything. You put your boat in the stream, and 99.9% of the people will start paddling upstream against the current. And they're working hard. Darn it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And they're working hard and hard. And Abraham says, dear one, turn your boat around and throw the paddle away and just flow with the stream. That stream is the universe, where your trust monkey comes in, and you have faith that you are cared of, and you allow yourself simply to be carried with the stream. And that is one of the false um, ideas of being in a 3D world in this human body, is that we have to work as hard as we can. And I'm not saying don't go out and put effort towards what you want to accomplish, but the combination of allowing yourself to flow downstream with situations and places and things, you might find that they actually works way better than struggling and fighting and working so hard.
The song kind of gives it away a bit. Gently down the stream. You know, they didn't write a song about going going upstream with a whole lot of effort.
Yeah, right, right, yeah.
Um, is there a point where we can let go of our intentions, um, and just we enter that point of complete trust, where we're no longer really manifesting, because we have absolute trust that everything we need is already provided and will be here when we need it?
I would imagine that there are those humans, those people who can do that. Um, I'm not there. I'm not 100% there. I don't know if I ever will be, uh, but I'm giving it a go. I don't. I'm sure, like I said, there may be those people who can do that 100% of the time, but then you're real close to being a completely enlightened person if you can do that.
Remember a great story about Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, transcendental meditation, when he wanted to buy
Hmm.
a university in Iowa to start a Ayurvedic school, a meditation school. And there was a press conference, and he was asked, almost in a mocking way, "Where are you?" Because this is before he was that multimillionaire that he became. Where are you going to get the money to buy a university? And he laughed and said, "From wherever it is now."
Yeah, I
Um,
like that. Yeah, and it worked.
yeah, because it really is. We don't live in a universe of lack, do we?
Yeah, well, we think we do. That's why you're rowing so hard upstream.
Right? Um,
I,
if
w-
we,
I would think the I would think that Maharishi had his own trust monkey.
I think he did. Um, we, but you're right. I think this is one of the assumptions that maybe our friend was talking about. Uh, that you know there is lack in the universe. It's some people have, some people don't.
Hmm.
I always
I
loved.
mean, there's
Sorry.
no. Go ahead.
When Marianne Williamson was asked about why did God create a universe in which children starve and people are homeless and there's war and there's violent crime, and it just doesn't make any sense, and there's just horrible things happening all the time. And her answer was, God did not create a universe where children starve, where there's violence, where there's warfare. We did.
Hmm. Bingo. That's right on. That is right on. Absolutely. Because we are a son of God, of all that is, that are now asleep in a dream of separation, which is basically a nightmare. We created it. God knows nothing of it. That's why he created the whole earth to be our go between communicator. You know, um, God doesn't really understand this world, so He has the Holy Spirit who understands what is going on with us in this 3D egoic world, but He uses our experiences in this world to translate them into love and truth and bring us back home.
Um, and that's also how we forgive, right? Is we ourselves, egoically speaking, we don't forgive as a body. That would be too many grudges, too many resentments, too many grievances. Um, but the Holy Spirit already sees everything as perfect. Uh, so we hand everything over to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's the truth. I mean, and let me talk to that. I mean, it's not like you're being a wimp and saying, well, I can't do anything myself here. This is all you. Sure, you give it over to the Holy Spirit, but again, as you're going through this life as Eric or Karl or Amy or whoever, um, you just continue working on yourself, living a life of non-judgment, non-attack, of love and peace and joy, uh, uh, and then in combination with giving it over to the Holy Spirit to take it from us, that's where we awaken and become more and more enlightened and understanding.
Right. So our job, as you mentioned earlier, is to have that little willingness.
And again, even myself, I mean, I get up every morning and I read the course in Miracle Out Loud, and then I do a little prayer and meditation afterwards. And I've been reading quite a bit about that little willingness, and it's our ego that thinks that, well, I need to do it, I need to do it, and it actually, the course actually states that the amount of what we have to do is just put it out there and be willing, and the vast majority is on God or all that is to do the rest for us. it's very, they say it's very arrogant if you say think you have to do it all yourself rather than just turning it over to the source of all that is.
Is that the same with the law of attraction? That we just need that little willingness, but we have a tendency to overdo it?
You're exactly right. And you know what? As long as I've been doing it, it is still very tempting when you know you want something. You know, I want what I want, and I want it now. You know, you know, you may get it, but again, it probably is not going to come in the way you imagined, and maybe not in a fulfilling way that you really wanted it. Yeah, put it
So,
out
Carla,
there.
go ahead.
No, just put it out there and trust and believe. Yeah, we definitely can want something way too bad. And I kind of talked to this earlier. If you want something way too much and are trying so hard, then you're actually putting up energetic resistance, keeping it from coming to you.
Right, Carl. I had to laugh because I'm 60 years old, and you just in what 2 sentences described the first 30 plus years of my life, uh, very succinctly. Unfortunately,
Oh man, wow. Well, I guess maybe you just needed to hear that.
I think I did. Um, are you familiar with? I'm sure you are. Ho'oponopono.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Yeah. One of the biggest promoters of that, Dr. Joe Vitale, who was in the movie The Secret, was one of my guests a couple years ago on my show, and I've gotten to know Joe very well. And yeah, plus I've lived in Hawaii for a couple years over the years, and yeah, I love Ho'oponopono.
Um, I think this is an unexpected surprise because so do I. I read his book. Um, I think 2007, and it has been a consistent practice for me ever since. It ties in so beautifully with the Course of Miracles, um, and I actually I remember I think his last book or one of his last books. He talked about wanting to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, and instead of setting an intent, he just left it up to inspiration, and he kept doing Ho'oponopono, cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Um, which is funny because I really want to get Joe Vitale up here for a conversation. And I'm doing the same thing that he's doing. I'm just cleaning, 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 and knowing that that connection will happen.
How about if I send you Joe's email address?
That would be awesome. Uh, that would be
He's
awesome.
very responsive. He's very responsive. He's very kind and loving, a good man. But you know, Joe has written 85 books, which is
His
pretty amazing
energy's
on top of.
his energy is amazing. It seems he's always working on something, and everything he works on is
Okay.
successful.
Oh yeah, he's done phenomenally well. Yeah, that's why he drives a purple Lamborghini.
Um,
But yeah, great guy.
could you for people in the chat who might not know Ho'oponopono, could you offer maybe a bit of a summary? Why are we saying "I'm sorry"? Why am I saying "Please forgive me"? Who am I? Who am I sorry to? Who am I asking to forgive me?
So, Ho'oponopono is a spiritual practice practiced by the Hawaiian kahunas, which are the spiritual uh, masters and teachers in Hawaiian culture. Um, and the story, and Joe Vitale tells us very well, he actually hooked up with there was a Hawaiian psychologist who worked at a mental hospital in Hawaii that kept some of the most vicious, crazy criminals. Uh, and his Dr. Hugh Lynn, I think that's his name. And eventually, Joe Vitale hooked up with Dr. Lynn and did a series of videos and a book with him. I forget what the name of his book is. Zero Limits Living, I think. Um, and so it goes back to when you're saying, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, thank you. You're speaking not only, well, you're speaking in combination to Source, to God, but also to the thing or situation or place that, as you call it, and that's the term that Joe Vitale uses, cleaning. I'm cleaning my mind. I'm cleaning out the unforgivenesses. As you do that, and literally, Dr. Lynn, everywhere he goes, when he's just in his own mind, he goes, "I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." And it's pretty interesting. I really believe it works.
Um, does it tie in well with the law of attraction? Is it uh,
Well, if you're cleaning, I love that term, cleaning. You're cleaning your mind. You're cleaning your chakra system, your energy. How can it not? I mean, if you're cleaning and what by cleaning we're saying you're bringing yourself to a more right-minded, healthy, loving, beautiful place in the universe instead of dwelling in that 3D egoic world of attack and judgment. As you bring yourself into a more right-minded, healthy, loving place, then what? The universe is going to send you more because that's what you're radiating. Your heart is radiating it. Your thoughts and your words are radiating it. Yeah, it's perfect with it.
um, I love how Joe talks about having a whiteboard, and that we have on that whiteboard we have all the stuff that we've written, all the script that we've written for days, weeks, months, years, decades. Um, and we might do a little bit of meditation. We might do a little bit of self help work, maybe erase a little bit, and it's quickly filled up again with all today's thoughts that we're having, none of which are very productive. And probably the vast majority of thoughts that we have aren't very uh, productive in a way of helping us. Um,
Well, and that's true, but I mean that goes right back to my peak more instead of coming down. As you change those unproductive, disempowering thoughts, then you're going to bring yourself back into the peak of joy and health and happiness and love, and instead of staying down in the valley longer and longer. Yeah. So keep cleaning, right?
clean. Um, I want to, if you don't mind, backtrack a bit because I think some people might have missed your the Carl origin story yesterday because of our technical difficulties. Um,
Oh, okay.
you have you started off reading the classics, Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie.
Yeah. And Power of Positive Thinking, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. That was the first one I got. And yeah, so that was my original influence. I was a wild and crazy disc jockey and radio here in Ohio in the States, and a bachelor just running every day. And I was a hippie, so boy, I was having a good time. What I remember, and but I just, like I said, I grew up in a household where we never went to church, never talked about religion, never talked about God. So I just had this blank slate of a mind that when I went out into the world in adulthood, that these things just came to me, and I just latched on to, oh yeah, there's got to be something better than this war I see over here, or that fight over there, this argument. And and so those classics came to me, and I developed a personal philosophy called the positive possibility power thinking, and that's what drove me to decide that I could do 52 marathons in 52 weeks. Oh, if I had a clue of what I was in for, I would say, no, I'm not going to do it. But I went out with my blind faith and my trust monkey and did it. Um, but yeah, it really is important to do these things and keep your thoughts and mind in a positive, loving place. And again, yeah, I'm not 100% consistent with it. I get my days where I'm depressed and unhappy, but then I understand I can change my thoughts and move back to a healthy place. And that works. It really does.
Um, when did well, what came first for you? The law of attraction, uh, which is sort of unspoken in Napoleon Hill's work. Um, he doesn't call
Yes.
it the law of
Mm-hmm.
attraction, but it's present.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, law of attraction came later. I mean, like I said, when I did my 52 marathons a year, I didn't know anything about the law of attraction. And in hindsight, I realized that as the year went on, that which I thought and dwelled upon was sent to me. I would go into. I remember one time pulling my driving into Jackson Hole, Wyoming, to run the Jackson Hole Marathon. I think I had like 11 cents in my pocket,
Well,
and the race directors gave me 4 nights in a hotel for free in Jackson Hole, and gave me a free entry. And then I had T-shirts that I would sell from. I called it the Super Run for the Cure. I would sell some. I ended up leaving town with like $400 and a full tank of gas in my pocket, and a free hotel in one of the a world class resort after I ran the marathon there. So that is I was putting it out there. The universe sent it to me because that's what I need this. I wasn't dwelling, I wasn't rowing upstream as hard as I could. I was put myself in the stream and allowed myself to go down with the current.
um, we have a question. She came in a little bit later. She says, "Can Carl please elaborate a bit on the trust monkey? Not sure I understand the concept." You'll like this.
I I'm trying to. Oh, here is it. I don't know if I can actually hold this up. Let's see if we can get that. There's a trust monkey. It's a plastic name card holder um, that a friend of mine had set at my Christmas dinner table when I went over to their house, with my name in it. When I came home, I pulled my name out, and I just, for some reason, I was getting ready to go. I probably had like a couple glasses of wine too many, and I go, I'm going to just type, wrote down trust, and I stuffed it in. And the next morning, I got up and I just looked at it and I just started laughing. I just thought, what a simple, beautiful reminder to myself that I can trust the universe, all that is, to help me fulfill my life's purpose and passion that easily. And I went into the kitchen. I got my cup of coffee, and then I walked back over to my desk, and I looked at the tray. I just started laughing. It was so simple a concept. Put a trust monkey or something that reminds you on your desk, or on your put it on your refrigerator with a magnet, you know.
um, Circling back to your story of Jackson Hole, uh,
Hmm.
that seems to me uh, exactly what the course was saying. Uh, that place of trust that you just knew you were going to be provided for.
Yep, that's how I did the whole year. Now, that's not to say that I didn't use an entire line of equity on my house
Right.
also to do that. I invested quite a bit of my own, but that's when you're a wild and crazy bachelor with no kids, you can do stuff like that. So,
Um,
but yeah, that's how I did my whole year.
it's amazing. Two things I want to touch upon. Uh, Take your pick which one. I'd like people to know when the Course in Miracles came into your under your radar, but also, and we can talk about this afterwards. I just don't want to forget because you had mentioned function, and it got me thinking special function from A Course in Miracles. Uh, and are you living your special function? Do you feel like you're living your special function that's been given to you by the Holy Spirit? This is your mission. This is how you're serving. Um, and how do you think people can find their special function?
Well, I think I can answer both of those. First of all, the course was published in 1975. by the Foundation for Inner Peace. They just celebrated 50 years. 2025 was the 50 years of A Course in Miracles. And fulfilling my special function, I think that as you become more in alignment of understanding that as you're studying the course, that you're undoing everything you thought you ever knew and remembering the truth of who you are as your higher self, your higher holy self, who was given everything. As you live that, you start to remember and you feel empowered and given everything you need to achieve your quote special function or life purpose. And if you're not sure what your life purpose is, well, look at what makes you feel good. What when you're, let's say you do something nice for somebody, or there's a homeless person that you gave $5 to. Did you feel in alignment with that? Or like me, I was in radio for 20 years as a disc jockey. I have a podcast now with 232 episodes. When I'm doing that, I am in the flow. I know I am accomplishing my life purpose, and I feel in perfect alignment with who I came here to be and do and have, and that's it. So pay attention how you're feeling. You're trying to figure out, well, I don't really feel like I have a purpose here and plan it. Well, sit down and think about that. What are the things that you think and do and believe that make you feel in alignment or make you feel good? Because if you're out of alignment, you're not going to feel good. I mean, that Abraham makes that very clear. If you feel good about something, you're in alignment with what you want and be and do and have. If you don't feel good, you're out of alignment. So pay attention to that.
It's pretty simple guidance that you know we literally know if we check in.
Yes. Yep. And I'm glad you use the word simple, because this is way more simple than the ego wants to make everything complex and wants to analyze everything and fragment it and separate it from the truth. And there's a great line in the course: the truth is true and nothing else is true. And that's as simple as it gets.
It is. Um, for right now, at this point, I'm thinking about you and your podcast, um, and what I'm doing uh, with my YouTube channel. I finally feels like I'm fulfilling my holy purpose, that my special function.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
and you're right that if I check in, it feels good. I feel like I'm doing. I smile. I wake up smiling, and I think I get to call. I get to talk to Karl today, and I don't know Karl, but I get to know him, and I get to have a fantastic conversation because he has something to tell me, and he has something that I'm going to be able to share. And just the right person and the right time that they need it are going to be able to find that little video clip. Everything feels good. Um,
And vice versa. Same thing for me. I get to talk to you, and you've said some amazing, beautiful things to me that help me to contemplate and know that I'm resonating in the right place, and give me some enlightening thoughts too. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. Um, so going back to Abraham Hicks, uh, it seems like uncommonly good wisdom. How are you feeling? Just asking yourself, how am I feeling?
Yep, absolutely. And again, we're going back to that word simple. It doesn't get, if you feel good about things, then you're in alignment with what you want to accomplish and be and do and have. If you don't feel good about it, well, that's where you go back and say, okay, I have a choice here. There's a simple little process that I use with many of my coaching clients. It's called pivoting. So let's say you're in a convenience store and you're in line and there's like 5 people in front of you and you want to pay for your gas. You're in a hurry and there's one clerk up there on the phone waiting on people and you get, "Argh." And if you just let go of that and say, all right, this is really not that important. I'm going to trust that that clerk is doing the best. Okay, I'm good. And all of a sudden the line just, it's called pivoting. You have the power and ability at any moment, if you catch yourself saying or thinking or acting in ways that don't seem empowering and loving and empowering and loving, then change your mind. So, oh wait, that's not what I want. Here's what I really want. I want the line to go quickly, and I'm on my way. So learn how to pivot. You can do it on the spot anywhere.
Um, Someone in the chat, Cat and Jack says pivot has been a key word today, and she's laughing because it has. Because I was talking to her earlier on the phone. Um, Little bumps and twists on my YouTube path, uh, where unexpected things have happened, and it feels like things are being taken away, or things have happened that are going to be hard to correct. Um, and I've been able to do prompted what you just said, to pivot and go in a everything that I'm doing right now has been because things were happening that didn't feel good, and I was able to pivot uh,
Yeah,
to bring me in a place where everything feels wonderful.
yeah. Well, and two, Eric, my podcasts are going on 8 years. I've had special guests that I worked a long time trying to get on, and we get on. We'd have, like yesterday, we had technical difficulties. The picture froze up, and the guest will invariably say, "Oh man, I'm really sorry about this. I mean, we're gonna have to reschedule." And I just think all things in the right way at the right time. This was in the right way, the right time. We rescheduled, and it comes off beautifully.
Right. Um, would you say one of the big issues that we have is we don't know how to check in with ourselves?
Well, probably because most of the world has an iPhone in front of their face, or they're listening to something in their ears nonstop. There's always some type of auditorio and visual. I call it cacophony, just all the time. We're afraid to hear our own thoughts anymore. And those people who are so used to, I mean, having a phone. Oh, look at that video on TikTok, and not that I'm immune to that. I will occasionally do that stuff, but people don't check in with their own thoughts because they can't hear their own thoughts. They're always occupied and distracted.
Um, do you think that people also don't know what it's like to feel good anymore on a maybe on a certain level?
Well, I mean, if you're addicted to, and I know I have friends like this, they're constantly watching CNN or NBC or some kind of crap, and there's a war here, and there's a fight there, and there's this power struggle here, and yeah, they don't know how to feel good anymore. Excuse me.
Um, so, what is someone contacts you as a life coach? Um, what's the general? If anyone here in the chat wanted to contact you, um, what would be the general outline of what you could present to them?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things I realized right away when I started coaching people is people come to me wanting me to fix them, and I'm a facilitator. I tell you, come to me and I'm going to help you to remember your own power, to be a creator of your own life, to create those own things. I just will guide them to that stream, to flow with the current. I mean, most people on the planet have no clue what a really true powerful creator they are. So if you come to me as a coach, I'm just going to guide you to remember your own inherent power that you can create that life that you want. Excuse me here a second. Hang on. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. Um, so we're so powerful, creators, co-creators, that we literally imagine a universe into existence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we live in this 3D world. Again, we're one we're one son of all that is who's asleep in a dream. And we come here in a human body to learn our forgiveness lessons so that eventually we awaken back. We've learned every lesson we can. I mean, Gary Renard, one of the greatest teachers in the world, his teachers, Art and Persa, showed him every face he's ever had. He's lived well over 1,000 lives, and he's on this forgiveness journey. Every life that we live is part of our forgiveness journey until we finally learn that last lesson and awaken and remember and are back home with God.
I'm eagerly waiting for his new book to come out in the next couple months, I believe.
Yeah, Gary's going to be, I emailed him. He's going to be on my show, I think, sometime in the beginning of the year. His new book is, God, I should have known the name of it. It's I something awakening back to God or something like that. But long awaited, and he's going to be on my show, and we're going to talk about it.
Apparently, on some Facebook groups, there's been a little controversy with his title, um, as some people seem to be upset by insinuating that we are God.
Well, how can we not be God? We're the Holy Son of God. He created us as Him. We're not. God is the Father, but He gave us everything that He is that exists. But He will always be the Father. We will always be the Son. And make no mistake about that. Oh yeah, his new book is called The Awareness of Being God, going all the way home with A Course in Miracles, and that's coming out, I believe, in the next couple months here.
I had his sister-in-law Jackie on, maybe
Jackie's great.
she is about 2 weeks ago. Um,
Yeah, I love Jackie. She's going to be on my show the end of January. Yeah,
oh, nice. Yeah, she was so much fun to talk to.
she is. And her sister, Cindy, which is Gary's wife.
Right. I have not reached out to Cindy yet, but she's on my list. I did reach out to Gary, and he sent me. He was so matter of fact. Sure. you know. Um,
He is.
as uh, as were you, and it seems to me the Course in Miracles students, teachers that I reach out to, almost almost to a T, have this great big welcoming yes, of course, uh, as if well, I was waiting for you to ask. Um, and
Um,
it amazes me that uh, saying yes to life. Um, how important is that? Saying yes to life.
well, you can say yes to life and all of the experiences that come with being in a human body, but you can still be spiritual and live at that high level. You just go through your day just with a little more serene look on your face. Let's go back to Gary Renard for, I think this is a real good example. 2021, I went to San Antonio, Texas for a weekend workshop with Gary and his wife, Cindy. And here's one of the most spiritual teachers in the world. Well, the week, it was Friday and Saturday were the workshop. That last night, I went to dinner with Gary and his wife at the Tower of the Americas in San Antonio, and there was about 12 of us there, and I sat right next to Gary for dinner. The guy, I mean, you think, well, you're going to be like a holy man. You're supposed to be, deprive yourself of everything. Gary had like 3 or 4 glasses of red wine. He ate lobster and steak, and he was having fun and laughing. I go, this is one of the most spiritual teachers in the world, but he's enjoying his experience in a human body. So it doesn't mean you have to deny the human experience, but you can live in that with that understanding that, oh yeah, I'm taken care of, and I'm loved, and I am loving and non-judgmental about people around me. I
Um,
love that example. That was great.
I love, uh, and Gary mentions it all the time. The story from Kenneth Wapnick, who just keeps telling people, uh, just be normal. No one
Hmm.
has to know that you are going about forgiving and forgiving and forgiving. No one has to know that you're doing ho'oponopono. No one has to know that you are living laws of attraction. Your life is its own demonstration.
Yeah. I was a little surprised the other day. Somebody gave me a Christmas card. Somebody I see almost every day just gave me a card, said, "You're so peaceful to be around." I go, I am? I go, yeah, I'll take that. And I think that's a reflection of how I live now, uh, walking the walk and standing up in the integrity of the truth of all that is.
Um, it's a beautiful way to go through life, isn't it?
I like it. I'll take it. I'll keep it.
Me too. Um, so, Carl, I think we'll wrap things up. Um,
Okay.
Can we recover um, your books that are available on Amazon, and I have your um, information on in your I have your World Awakening and Law of Attraction. Let's see, and I will put any other links I'll add if you want me to. You can send me so
Yeah,
it'll be out
okay.
there.
Yeah. World Awakening is the fast track to enlightenment is my podcast on YouTube and any possible audio only outlet in the world. I uploaded to Apple Podcasts and they send it to everybody else. Um, and then True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. It's on Amazon. Like I said, I'll hold it up one more. I know the words are backwards here, I think, but
Yep.
um, I really put everything I know into that book. And then, I have running books, Running for Their Lives, THEIR, which came out running a marathon a week to help find a cure for leukemia.
Um, what's on the um, what's on the wood burner now? Anything coming up that we should know about?
Yeah, well, everybody seems to get motivated by a new year, so I think I'm kind of started working on putting together a men's course, uh, a private Facebook group based on a course in miracles. Men seem to have had quite a convoluted journey over the last few years here, and lost track about how to be able to live a masculine life, but still uh, follow the loving, light-filled, truthful path too. And I've been put just now started working on that, and when it comes together, I'll probably put it on Facebook and social media, and see if people want to join me with that.
I like that. And you had mentioned we can expect to see Gary on your podcast and Jackie.
Yeah, yeah. Jackie, I've already scheduled her for the end of January, and I'm glad you mentioned I need to email Gary, and Gary will probably be on my show sometime in the next couple months.
Nice. Have you had David Hoffmeister?
One of my very first guests. As a matter of fact, back when I started the show in 2018, and the funny story, I know we got to get going, but the funny story about David Hoffmeister is um, I live in Columbus, Ohio, in the U.S. David grew up in Cincinnati, which is about in a less than 2 hour drive from Columbus. After I interviewed him, he happened to go to Cincinnati. He said he was going to Cincinnati to visit his mother down there. And he said, well, come on down and we'll hang out. And I went down. I got to hang out with David and a couple of his friends for a day. And what a joy, what a joyful man. There's a guy, as he says, when he started studying A Course in Miracles, he went down the rabbit hole completely.
Right.
Yeah, David's one of the greater teachers in the world of A Course.
I have an interesting Gary story as well. He was one of the first guests that I had as well. And
Oh, cool.
we have someone here with me, Miss Flipper, and her and I do Miracle Mondays, where we talk Course in Miracles, whatever comes up, nothing planned. And she told me one Monday, this was a couple months ago, that she would be unable to make it. And I had sent an email to David about coming up on my live stream, and I hadn't heard back from him. And his reply was, "How about Monday at 1 o'clock?" This was the day after Miss Flipper said that she couldn't make it on Monday at 1 o'clock, and it just like he saw that spot and opened right up to it without knowing. It was an amazing little experience.
All things in the right way at the right time.
In the right time. Much like our conversation today, we're technically flawless. We had
Yay.
yeah, we had no issues whatsoever. So when you have time in the upcoming year, you think you might want to come up and we'll just hang out and have another talk?
Yeah, absolutely. You just let me know.
Awesome. And I will send you a link to this if you want to share it or you want to check it out. And if there's any particular thing that you want me to make a clip of, I'm happy to. Just let me know.
Okay, and I'll send you Joe Vitale's email address.
Awesome. I'm really
All right.
looking forward to that. Karl, thank you so much.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you.
Guys, this was a pleasure. This was a real pleasure to hang out with Karl. Check out his book. Check out his definitely check out his website, and most definitely check out the podcast. Some great guests. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
Guys, I'll see you at 5:25. Thanks for hanging out with me.